my very best friend. I mean, Paul and I were so close. I mean, we would always share a room together, always ride together. I mean, I remember in when we broke in together. Uh, when I went to Watts's territory, Watts didn't want the Heels and Babyfaces riding with each other, and Grizzly Smith, Aurelian Smith, uh, who is Jake the Snake's dad, and I'm sorry, Jake the Snake's dad, and uh, uh, well, what's his Rocket Robin,
Sam
and
Houston.
Sam Houston, yeah. So Grizzly was he was a very good, a very intelligent guy when it came to matches. He was good at figuring things out, but he loved to stooge. He was the biggest stooge there was. I mean, he loved to tell on people, and he got very, very frustrated that he couldn't catch Orndorff and I riding together. I mean, he was doing everything, and one day he thought he caught us with a flat tire, and we were late for TV, and he thought he finally caught us riding together, and nobody had cell phones back then, and you know we weren't going to fess up, no, because Watts was going to take $500 out of our paycheck, and we were only making $1,000, so he's going to take half of our paycheck for riding together. So we just said, no, Grizzly's lying. We weren't together. I don't know where he got that. I'm sure somebody told him, so he's going off what somebody said. And him and Bill were together. Paul walked in, we were smart enough to know, not even though we were both late, not to come in together. And we already had two different stories. So, $500, Steve, that's a lot of money, brother. And, back then, especially, just have that taken away. And we knew that he meant it. He would do it.
Yeah, that you're right. $500 today. And, in this time frame, still a lot of money. Like $500. What year are you talking about?
We're talking 1979.
Oh my God, $500 in 1979. Yeah, I would be like, you drive in, you shove Paul out of the car, let him walk a mile in while you pull in with your car.
It's probably like $5,000 now. So that's a lot of freaking money. And so anyway, Paul was a tough guy. I mean, I've got more Mr. Wonderful stories. If you get a chance to read my book, Truth Be Told, which is available on Amazon, there's some stories in there I promise will make you laugh and keep you in stitches. One story that I never told in that book. I mean, after you write a book, you think of 100 more stories, and I had like 1,000 pages, and my author Ian Douglas, my co-author, I had to condense this down and get it down to, he wanted like 400 pages. I think it wound up being like 450 pages. But there was a lot of stories, and Paul and I we were at this Shakey's Pizza in North Little Rock, Arkansas, and we sat down, and I saw this big guy in bib overalls, walk in the door, and just kind of looking out a little bit. He kept looking like he was staring at Orndorff. I said, "Hey, Paul," I said, "that big guy, there's this big guy behind you, and he keeps staring at you, brother." He goes, "Well, will you watch him for me, Pete?" "Okay, you watch him." I said, "I'll watch him, don't worry." I mean, Paul and I, we had each other's back all the time. And so, nothing really happened. And I got up and I said, "Hey, Paul, I'm going to play this." It was an Aces High pinball machine, my favorite pinball machine. So I got up and I started playing this pinball machine, and all of a sudden I see something, like something got thrown at me, and I switch, I hear this pop, and I turn around, and the big guy was after me for some reason. Apparently he was getting ready to hit me from behind while I was playing pinball, and Paul just cold cocked him. He had a left hand, just an unbelievable left hand. And when he hit that guy, the back of his head hit the concrete, he was KO'd. And we thought, well, we didn't know if he's dead or alive, but blood's coming out. So we just get in the car and take off while they're taking care of this big guy. I mean, he's like 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds. I mean, a big guy, country boy. And so we take off, and it's snowy and cold out. Get in the car, and maybe about 5 miles from there, somebody kept following us with the brights on. Turn it off, turn them on for a while, and I mean, probably we're in this country road, or not country road, but in like a country. It's a 2-lane paved road, but we're in the country, and this car runs up kind of on our butts, and then slows back down and turns the brights on, and all kinds of things are going through our head, like, this might have been a friend of that country boys that you knocked out, Paul.
Yeah.
This is very weird. What is this guy doing? And all of a sudden, there's a flashing light coming up, and the flashing lights coming up, and there's a train track. So the train is in front of us, and we've got to stop. So we stop, and I crack my door a little bit, because I see this guy pulling right behind us, and he's getting out, and Paul said he's got a gun. I said, what? He's got a gun? He said he's got something shiny in his hand. I don't know if it's a gun or a knife. I don't know what it is. And I said, well, what do I do? There's no place I can go. And so he's coming up to my door pretty quick. And I had opened the door just a shade. And so as he's coming up to the door, I roll the window down, and as he's coming right to my door, he gets his head, and he starts to say something. And as he does, I slam my door right into him. As hard as I could, I opened it right into him, and he goes sliding, and this, like a knife, it's like a dagger, goes shooting across the road, and he's in the road, in the concrete there, slipping, trying to get up. And as he does, I get out, and I had cowboy boots on. Paul always wears tennis shoes, but I had cowboy boots on, and I, just kicked him right in the face. And boy, he was down, and I kind of slipped too, and it's really slippery. And Orndorff comes around, and he starts stomping on him with his tennis shoe, into the thing. He's calling them names, he's calling a big temper. And no more train. We get into the car and take off, and we left that guy just on the side of the road. I mean, it was a very, very scary. I remember we were both so scared, like we were going to get shot or stabbed, or it was the end of our time right then.